Unacademy. Let's crack it.
Hey everyone, a very warm welcome back to the channel. Today we have another very interesting question from the house of trigonometry, in which we are being given that alpha plus beta plus gamma is equal to pi and the following product of tans is equal to 1. Then we have to find the value of cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma is equal to how much. So ideally you should try to do it within 8 minutes, and maximum you should spend 15 minutes in this question. So try to pause the video and give the question a try, and then return back to have a look at the solution. So I hope you all have tried. Now the answer to this question is -1, and the concepts and formulas used would be that tan of pi by 4 minus theta is equal to 1 minus tan theta upon 1 plus tan theta. Similarly, cos theta is equal to 1 minus t square upon 1 plus t square, where t is nothing but tan theta by 2, right? And similarly, tan theta by 2 is equal to 1 minus cos theta upon sin theta. All right. We should also know some conditional identities, that if a plus b plus c is equal to pi, then cyclic sum of tan a by 2 into tan b by 2 is equal to 1. Sin a cyclic sum would be equal to 4 times cyclic product of cos a by 2, and cos a cyclic sum is equal to 1 plus 4 times the cyclic product of sin a by 2. Now, method 1, let us see. So the given expression can be written as cyclic. Now look, what we are actually doing is that we are writing this entire expression as the cyclic product of tan of pi beta plus gamma minus alpha by 4. Now clearly beta plus gamma can be replaced by pi minus alpha, and remaining terms are as it is. So this obviously becomes cyclic product of tan of pi by 4 minus alpha by 2. Now using this formula, I have written this expression in this manner. Okay, 1 minus tan alpha by 2 upon 1 plus tan alpha by 2. Now let x equal to tan alpha by 2, y is equal to tan beta by 2, z is equal to tan gamma by 2. So obviously this would become cyclic product of 1 minus x upon 1 plus x is equal to 1. So if you expand this cyclic product, obviously it would become 1 minus x upon 1 plus x into 1 minus y upon 1 plus y into 1 minus z upon 1 plus z. That is equal to 1. So if you cross multiply, clearly we will obtain this equation, that this product is equal to this product. Okay. Now, when you open this up, obviously we will get 1 minus s1 plus s2 minus s3, and here 1 plus s1 plus s2 plus s3, where sr is nothing but the sum of x comma y comma z taken r at a time. So for example, s1 would be x plus y plus z, s2 would be xy plus yz plus zx, and s3 would be equal to xyz. Now, after cancelling 1 and s2 from both the sides, we obviously get s1 plus s3 is equal to 0. S1 we can call as S, which is the sum of xyz, and S3, since it is equal to xyz, we can call it as the product P. All right. So this equation now becomes S plus P is equal to 0. This is what we are calling as equation number 1. Now, since alpha plus beta plus gamma is given to be pi, we can directly use the conditional identities to get that S2 would be equal to 1, because the reason is that cyclic product of tan A by 2 tan B by 2 is equal to 1. Now, in this case, instead of A we have alpha, instead of B we have beta, and C we have gamma, because alpha plus beta plus gamma is a pi. So clearly the cyclic sum of tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2 would be equal to 1. But this is what we are calling as x, and this is what we are calling as y. So cyclic sum of xy is equal to 1, but sum of them taken 2 at a time is what we call as 2. So that's why S2 we are calling as 1. I have also done the derivation of the same property. If we take tan both sides, and tan formula, we know that it is S1 minus S3. Below it is 1 minus sum taken 2 at a time. That would be tan pi by 2, which is undefined. This can obviously only be undefined when the denominator becomes 0. So S2 would be equal to 1. So both ways you can do it. It's your choice. It is totally up to you. So now we wish to find cyclic sum of cos alpha, because that's what we are being asked to find here, right? So that's what we have written as summation cos alpha cyclic. Now cos alpha I have written as 1 minus tan square alpha by 2 upon 1 plus tan square alpha by 2, as we already saw the formula. Now clearly this can be written as 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square cyclic sum, because tan alpha by 2 we called as x, and the remaining terms is y and z. Now what we can do is we subtract a 1 and add a 1. So this clearly becomes 1 plus 1 is 2 upon 1 plus x square and minus 1, because if you take negative common, we are left with x square plus 1 upon 1 plus x square, which will again become 1. So that's what we have written here. Now I have split the sum of this quantity minus the sum of this quantity. Obviously the cyclic sum of 1 would be 3, since there are 3 terms x, y and z. Okay, and 2 obviously comes out of the sum because it is a constant, and inside we are remaining, we are having cyclic sum of 1 upon 1 plus x square, and this sum I have called as lambda. Okay, now lambda would clearly be equal to this quantity. How? There are two ways to understand this. Obviously this can be written as, after expanding, this becomes this thing, right? Then after taking the LCM, you will easily see that you obtain this quantity. Okay, just take LCM and simplify, you will get this. Another way of doing the same can be that you write it as, we multiply the denominator and numerator by 1 plus y square and 1 plus z square. And below we are having 1 plus x square, 1 plus y square, 1 plus z square. Now obviously, since the denominator, this denominator is basically, symmetric with respect to x, y and z, this can come outside the sum. Okay, because it is symmetric quantity, so this comes outside the sum, and the sum is only being taken off the numerator. The numerator obviously becomes 1 plus y square plus z square plus y square z square. Now the thing is that denominator is this quantity only, because how will you expand this thing? It will be 1 plus sum of x square, y square, z square taken one at a time, some of them taken 2 at a time, and some of them taken 3 at a time. Obviously sum taken 3 at a time would be x square, y square, z square, which is xyz whole square. So that's why we have written it as p square, right? Now what about the numerator? So cyclic sum of this is being taken, right? Cyclic sum of 1 would be 3. Here it is, because the cyclic sum is being taken over 3 terms x, y, z. Then cyclic sum of this quantity, obviously it would come out like, first of all, we would have y square plus z square, then we would have z square plus x square, then we would have x square plus y square. So obviously there are 2 z squares, 2 y squares and 2 x squares. So that's why 2 into x square plus y square plus z square. And finally cyclic sum of this, so y square, z square, x square, y square. So in both ways it is correct. Either way you do, you will still get the value of lambda as this quantity only. Then we subtract 1 from both the sides, so clearly lambda minus 1 would come out as, now look, it is very easy. When you subtract 1, if you subtract 1 from both sides, then obviously you will take the LCM. So when you take the LCM, this entire quantity x square plus y square, x square y square plus y square z square plus z square x square will cancel this out, right? 3 minus 1 would give us 2. Twice of this quantity minus this quantity would give us this quantity, and minus p square obviously. Now using the equation number 1, since s plus p is equal to 0, we can say s is equal to minus p. Squaring both the sides, we will get p square is equal to s square. But what is s square? X plus y plus z whole square. That would obviously become x square plus y square plus z square plus 2 into sum of them taken 2 at a time. That is the way x plus y plus z whole square is expanded. So clearly, and obviously using 2, we have the value of s2 as 1 in the equation number 2. We had gotten s2 is equal to 1. So if you substitute it as 1, 2 into 1 would become 2. So 2 plus x square plus y square plus z square minus p square is equal to 0. So this is the numerator here, right? 2 plus x square plus y square plus z square minus p square. So that becomes 0. So lambda minus 1 becomes 0. Lambda is equal to 1. So obviously summation of cos alpha would become, from the equation number, I think here we had written, basically, yeah, here it was twice lambda minus 1, right? Summation cos alpha was equal to twice of lambda minus 3. And that's what we have written here also. Twice of lambda minus 3 is equal to, and now since lambda is 1, it becomes 2 minus 3, and minus 1 comes out as the final answer. Now let us have a look at method number 2 also. This is a little shorter, so have a look. The given expression can be written as, once again, cyclic product of this quantity, and once again beta plus gamma being replaced by pi minus alpha. Now notice that we can write it in this way. Basically it becomes tan of pi by 4 minus alpha by 2. So I've taken half common, and that's how we have written this down. Now we know that tan of theta by 2, where is it? Tan of theta by 2 is equal to 1 minus cos theta upon sin theta. So that is exactly what we have applied. This is acting as our theta by 2. So that becomes 1 minus cos of that angle upon sine of that angle. Now cos of pi by 2 minus alpha becomes sine alpha, and sine of pi by 2 minus alpha becomes cos alpha. That is equal to 1, right? So obviously this product can be written as product of 1 minus sine upon product of cos is equal to 1. Then you can cross multiply. So here it goes, it becomes 1 minus sine alpha product is equal to cos alpha product, right? Now we square both the sides so that we are getting this thing whole square. Now look, here we will get, look, here we are getting on squaring product of cos whole square, but that can also be written as product of cos square, right? It is very easy to observe. The reason is product of f into g is also equal to product f into product g, and similarly product of f upon g is also equal to product f upon product g. So using those very basic formulas, if you put g is equal to f both the sides, so its whole square can also be written as product of cos squares. Okay, so that's how we have written this. Now cos square is obviously equal to 1 minus sine square, which can also be factorized as 1 minus sine into 1 plus sine. So it actually becomes the product of this quantity into this quantity. And using this property that we just wrote, that product of two functions whole product is equal to product of individual products, I can write it as product of 1 minus sine into product of 1 plus sine. This right hand side I've written in this manner. Okay, left hand side remains as it is. Now obviously this will cancel out this 2, so we are left with product of 1 minus sine is equal to product of 1 plus sine. Now this is nothing but the cyclic product. When you're taking, obviously the right hand side becomes 1 plus sine alpha into 1 plus sine beta into 1 plus sine gamma. Okay, so obviously when you open it up, it will be 1 plus sum of these terms taken 1 at a time, taken 2 plus taken 2 at a time, plus taken 3 at a time. And similarly, since here it is negative, so it will alternate the sign. So 1 minus sum of these terms taken 1 at a time, these terms plus these terms taken 2 at a time, then minus 3 at a time. So clearly 1 and 1 will get cancelled, and S2 S2 get cancelled. So S1 plus S3 will come out to be 0. What is S1? Sum of these terms taken 1 at a time. What is S3? Taken 3 at a time. Now we know that this quantity is equal to this thing. Why? From conditional identities, we have already written this down. Have a look. Cyclic sum of sines was equal to 4 times the cyclic product of cosines. So that's how we have written this down, that since alpha plus beta plus gamma was equal to pi, so that's why we have written 4 cos alpha by 2 cos beta by 2 cos gamma by 2. And this term we have simply written sine alpha as 2 sine alpha by 2 cos alpha by 2. Basically what we have used is, we have used the formula sine theta is equal to 2 sine theta by 2 cos theta by 2, right? So that's why, since these are 3 terms, 2 into 2 into 2 will become 2 cube, and the remaining terms, for sine alpha we have sine alpha by 2 cos alpha by 2, for sine beta we have sine beta by 2 cos beta by 2, for sine gamma we have sine gamma by 2 cos gamma by 2. Now it is very obvious to us that we can divide both sides by 4 cos alpha by 2 cos beta by 2 cos gamma by 2. We have cancelled this from both the sides, okay, because 4 cos alpha by 2 cos beta by 2 4 cos gamma by 2 term was here also. So when you divide it by this quantity, it becomes 1. Then when you divide 8 by 4, it becomes 2. And when you also divide by cos alpha by 2 cos beta by 2 cos gamma by 2, this gets cancelled, this gets cancelled, this gets cancelled. So inside only we are left with this quantity, product of sine alpha by 2's, right? Now this quantity using conditional identity is equal to this thing, right? We have already seen this formula in our concepts and formulas used, that summation of cos alpha is equal to this thing, right? So that's what I've used here. And we are getting 1 plus 4 sine alpha by 2 sine beta by 2 sine gamma by 2. From this equation number 3, obviously, the product of sine alpha by 2 sine beta by 2 sine gamma by 2 comes out to be minus half. You just take 1 to this side, divide by 2, so it will be minus half. So this becomes 1 plus 4 times minus half. This becomes 1 minus 2, which is equal to minus 1 as the final answer. So I hope this was even though this was a very lengthy and a little bit typical and difficult question, still the two methods that I told you, you are able to grasp them and will be able to apply them in the future problems. So thank you all for staying back and sticking till the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure you hit the bell icon, like the video, share, comment, and subscribe.